Millions of fans, sports are a passion, escape, and a source of unforgettable moments. But for those who bring the game to life, the sportscasters, producers, and crew behind the scenes, the thrill of that game can fade. What happens when the magic of sports becomes just another day at work?
I actually thought I was going to be a filmmaker, and so I was into film and creative writing, and this gentleman came into our class and was like, hey, I need a camera operator for a softball game. Does anyone want to do it? So I decided, yeah, sure, why not? I'll give it a shot.
The spectacle of sports remains for the fans. But for those behind the mic and the camera, it becomes a relentless cycle. The games change, but the job stays the same.
And especially too on a camera, again, you're zoning in, you're hitting your assignments, you're hitting your marks. You're not thinking, oh, they're down by 3. Occasionally you get a break where you can kind of peek out and see where the game is, and okay, this is going to be close. Obviously as you get near the end, you want to know if it's closer or not, or if this is going to be the last shot. But once you're in the game, yes, you're focusing on the technical aspects, you're focused on hitting your marks, and what's happening in the game is kind of secondary. I've done almost all the sports that there are, but I think that my favorite sport to cover is by far hockey. It's fast-paced, the action just flows back and forth, there's not a lot of stoppages, there's fighting, there's people smashing into each other, the puck is really hard to follow too, so I think that it's more satisfying, when you get that shot, that, you're like, man, I really nailed it, it's really exciting in that, because it's hard to miss. So, for me, hockey has just this rare combination of challenges, fast-paced, and you just kind of like get in the flow, and, you're just feeling it and feeling the rhythm of the game, and it's really exciting. And so for me, I'd have to say hockey's my favorite sport to cover.
I always knew that, I wanted to be a part of sports, especially broadcasting from a very young age, like 9th grade.
I'm a sports fan. I can tell you my favorite sport's baseball. Going back to like the 2006 Tigers, sitting on my dad's lap, watching, Maglio hit the walk-off grand slam in the ALCS. That's like kind of my first sports memory. So from there I started wondering, what's the TV look like, all that kind of stuff. And then I'd start going to the games and I'd see the camera people and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. It's something I want to be involved with.
For many, working and producing broadcasts is a dream job. The chance to be at the heart of the action, to witness history in real time, it's an intoxicating thought. The adrenaline of live television, the energy of the crowd, the privilege of telling the story of the game is why they do it.
It's more adrenaline, like, I'm excited, I'm ready to do this, I've been looking forward to this all week. So it's more adrenaline, like I get very pumped up, I get very fired up. It kind of feels like game day, be able to have that feeling is really cool. And
I'd much rather have an opportunity to sit in the truck at the Super Bowl than watch it from the bleachers, because that's just, that's what I've come to love. So you have to take yourself back and think, we're not just watching, we're not just making a little TV show for ourselves. There are people watching, and sometimes up to 100,000 people from all over the world are watching. So yeah, that's what keeps me coming back.
Working in sports broadcasting is an introduction to a whole new world of sports. For some, it's an even better way to view a game. However, working consistently in sports broadcasting can sometimes take its toll.
You completely see the game in a different light, and it's really a mental switch. I can't go to games as a fan anymore. I just can't. I have to be working it in some way.
But again, it definitely sours that fan experience, because when you're immersed in working these events, you just see it so differently. And again, yes, I would say it definitely impacts your experience as a fan.
Yeah.
The time commitment when working in sports broadcasting is immense. And for higher-ups like producers and supervisors, the balance between personal life and work life can become tough.
It really is tough when you're trying to fit family time and other personal time in with sports, especially if your family time doesn't mesh, right? Like nights and weekends, that's when the sports happens, right? My wife and kids, they're in school during the week, they're working during the week 9 to 5. So when they're having their free time, a lot of times I'm working. So it is a challenge. And when I do have those days or nights or weekends off, I try to take advantage, you know, like I will circle those weekend dates on the calendar and come up with something. Hey, what are we gonna do? Let's go take this trip or go see what we wanted to see, you know, when I couldn't do it. So it's really trying to prioritize those days that you're not working on the weekends and trying to really make them count, you know.
From the outside, sports broadcasting may not seem overly complicated. However, each worker has a role to tell a story to a massive audience.
Directing is kind of an interesting art in that you're kind of telling a story for people that might not have the sound up. You have to tell a story through shots, and every single time, whether it's between pitches, between snaps, you know, when the ball goes out of bounds, whatever, you have 5 to 10 seconds to tell a story just through different shots. And you got to tell your camera operators what to do, where to look, all that good stuff.
I think how much that goes into it and how many hands are actually working on a broadcast, you know, like, of course, no broadcast is perfect, and you know you're going to have some miscues on in the Super Bowl. You're going to have some miscues in the finals. You're going to have some miscues when you're covering just a regular season game. Like, mistakes are going to happen, and I think sometimes audiences are quick to judge because they need it to be perfect, or they expect, you know, perfection.
Sports broadcast teams may be the vision behind the game you watch on TV, and they've probably witnessed some pretty insane moments over the years. Those moments are what define their careers and what keep them coming back every time.
I would have to say, when I was directing the video board show for the Michigan State game, and it was a football game, and that game was like the center of the football universe. Here it was, you know, Kenneth Walker getting that 5th touchdown and basically putting us ahead in a lead we never relinquished, and, you know, just seeing the fans go crazy and just knowing that we carried the day on that one, and it was such a big game. Like, everyone was just in a moment of euphoria on the crew, in the stands, and, you know, for the next several hours we were just walking on cloud 9 after that.
It's hard not to get lost in the beauty of sports, and sometimes work and fun can blend together. But in the end, all the broadcasters do it for one thing: the love of the game.